What if I told you that the person you overlook every single day, the one you barely notice, the one you consider insignificant, holds the key to your greatest miracle? In the heart of Lagos, Nigeria, a billionaire's mansion stood like a fortress. Inside lived a family drowning in wealth but suffocating in silence. Their daughter, Amara, had never heard a single sound in her 12 years of life. Not her mother's lullaby. Not her father's laughter. Not even her own voice. Doctors from London, specialists from America, healers from across Africa, none could help her. But the answer wasn't in their expensive clinics or ancient rituals. It was standing at the gate. Waiting. Watching. Knowing. And what he pulled from his pocket that fateful evening would change everything, and reveal a terrifying truth that had been hidden for over a decade. This is not just a story. This is a warning about the spirits we anger, the debts we refuse to pay, and the humble people we should never, ever underestimate. Chief Okonkwo's mansion was the talk of Lagos. 30 rooms. Olympic-sized pool. Gold-plated bathroom fixtures. Security cameras on every corner. A fleet of luxury cars that could fund a small village for years. But in the most lavish bedroom on the 3rd floor, decorated in pink and gold, sat 12-year-old Amara, staring out the window at a world she could never fully experience. She was beautiful, her mother's high cheekbones, her father's proud bearing, skin like polished mahogany. But her eyes held a sadness that no amount of money could erase. Amara had been born deaf. Completely, profoundly deaf. Chief Okonkwo had spared no expense. When Amara was a baby, he flew her to Johns Hopkins in America. When she was 5, specialists in London examined her. When she was 8, he brought traditional healers from every corner of Nigeria, Ifo priests from Ilefe, powerful medicine men from the east, mystical malams from the north. Nothing worked. His wife, Mrs. Ngozi Okonkwo, had turned their home into a shrine of desperation. Candles burned day and night. She visited every church, mosque, and shrine within a 100-mile radius. She gave thousands to charity, hoping karma would smile on her daughter. She fasted until she fainted. But Amara remained in her silent world. Despite her disability, Amara was brilliant. She had learned to read lips in 3 languages, English, Yoruba, and Igbo. She communicated through sign language, writing, and a tablet her father had bought from Japan. Her teachers came to the house because Mrs. Okonkwo couldn't bear the thought of sending her to a special school. "My daughter is not like other children," she would say, not understanding that this was precisely the problem. Amara was isolated, living in a golden cage where she had everything except the one thing she desperately wanted, to hear her mother say, "I love you," out loud. Amara had one friend in that big house, and it wasn't her busy father or her anxious mother. It wasn't the housemates who pitied her or the tutors who spoke slowly as if silence meant stupidity. It was Malam Ibrahim, the gateman. Malam Ibrahim had worked for the Okonkwo family for 15 years. He was there before Amara was born. He was thin, almost fragile-looking, with a grey beard and eyes that seemed to see more than they should. He wore simple clothes, never the uniform Mrs. Okonkwo tried to force on him, and he spoke little. To Chief Okonkwo, Ibrahim was invisible. Just another servant. Someone to back orders at. Someone whose salary was 3 months late because he'll understand. Someone who should be grateful to guard the gate of such an important man. But to Amara, Ibrahim was different. He was the only person who never looked at her with pity. When she came to the gate during her lonely walks around the compound, he would smile, not sadly, but truly. He taught her to name the birds that visited the compound. He showed her how to feel the vibrations of music by placing her hand on the small radio he kept in his gatehouse. He gave her mangoes from the tree near his post, always the ripest ones. And sometimes, when he looked at her, Amara felt like he wanted to say something important. His lips would start to move, then stop. His hand would reach toward her, then pull back. As if he was holding a secret too heavy to carry but too dangerous to share. What Chief Okonkwo had forgotten, Malam Ibrahim had never stopped remembering. 15 years earlier, Okonkwo was not yet chief. He was just Chinedu, a struggling businessman drowning in debt, facing bankruptcy, about to lose everything. His import business had failed. His creditors were threatening his life. His young wife, Ngozi, was pregnant with their first child, and he couldn't even afford proper medical care for her. In his desperation, Chinedu did what many desperate men do, he sought power beyond the natural world. A friend told him about a powerful mystic who lived deep in the forest outside Ibadan. "He can change your destiny," the friend whispered. "But his prices are unusual." Chinedu traveled to that forest. He found the mystic, an ancient man who lived in a hut that seemed to exist between worlds. The man's eyes were white, unseeing yet all-knowing. "You want wealth beyond measure," the mystic said before Chinedu could speak. "You want to rise above all your enemies. You want your name to inspire fear and respect." "Yes," Chinedu breathed. "Yes, all of that. I can give you this," the old man said. "But you must pay the price." "Anything," Chinedu said. "I'll pay anything." The mystic smiled, and it was not a kind smile. In the spirit world, there is a powerful entity, okonkwo, the trickster spirit. He will grant you 15 years of unprecedented wealth and success. Your businesses will flourish. Money will flow to you like rivers. You will become more powerful than you ever dreamed. "What must I give in return?" Chinedu asked. "Two things," the mystic said, holding up two gnarled fingers. "First, 15 years from the day of your greatest joy, you must make a sacrifice. Second, you must employ my son as your gateman for those 15 years. He will be my eyes and ears. On the day of reckoning, he will collect the debt." "What kind of sacrifice?" Chinedu asked nervously. The mystic's white eyes seemed to pierce through him. "That will be revealed when the time comes. Do you accept?" Chinedu thought of his pregnant wife. His mounting debts. His shattered pride. "I accept." The ritual was performed that night. Blood was spilled. Words in ancient tongues were spoken. And the next morning, everything changed. Within a week, Chinedu received a phone call about a business opportunity that made him his first million. Within a month, he had 10 million. Within a year, he was a billionaire. Every venture succeeded. Every investment multiplied. He built his mansion. He bought his cars. He became Chief Okonkwo, and people bowed when he passed. And true to the agreement, a thin, quiet man named Ibrahim came to his gate asking for work. Chinedu, in his excitement over his newfound wealth, barely remembered the old mystic's words. He hired Ibrahim without question, then promptly forgot about him. His greatest joy came 9 months after the ritual, the birth of his daughter, Amara. What Chief Okonkwo didn't know was that okonkwo, the trickster spirit, had marked his daughter from birth. The price of 15 years of wealth was Amara's hearing. The spirit had stolen it the moment she drew her first breath, storing it in the spiritual realm, waiting for the debt to be paid. And Malam Ibrahim, the mystic's son, the watcher at the gate, had been counting down the days. 15 years from the day of greatest joy. 15 years from Amara's birth. Today was day 5475. Today, the debt was due. It started like any other day. Chief Okonkwo left early for a business meeting. Mrs. Ngozi was at another prayer session, begging God for what she didn't know had been stolen by something older than prayer. Amara sat in her room, doing homework, unaware that this was the last day she would live in silence. At the gate, Malam Ibrahim stood differently. His usual slouch was gone. He stood straight, taller somehow. His eyes, usually kind and gentle, now held an ancient knowledge. In his pocket, he carried something wrapped in black cloth, something he had kept hidden for 15 years. Around 5 p.m., Mrs. Ngozi's car pulled up to the gate. Ibrahim opened it as always, but this time, he spoke, "Tell Chief Okonkwo that today, the debt must be paid. I will come to the house at sunset." He knows what this means, even if he has tried to forget. Mrs. Ngozi looked confused. "What debt? What are you talking about?" But Ibrahim had already returned to his post, and she dismissed it as the ramblings of an old man. When she mentioned it to Chief Okonkwo later, his blood ran cold. The memory he had buried for 15 years came flooding back. The forest. The mystic. The ritual. The promise. It's today, he whispered, his face draining of color. Amora's birthday. She turns 12 today. 15 years from her birth, the debt is due. What are you talking about? His wife demanded. What debt? Before he could answer, the doorbell rang. Malam Ibrahim stood at the door of the main house for the first time in 15 years. The security guards, confused by Chief Okonkwo's panicked order, had let him through. Please, Chief Okonkwo begged, a billionaire on his knees before his gateman. Take money. Take everything. Take the houses, the cars, the businesses. Just don't take my daughter. Your daughter was already taken, Ibrahim said quietly. 12 years ago. What I'm here to do is return what was stolen, or lock it away forever. That choice is yours. Mrs. Ngozi, finally understanding that something terrible was happening, rushed upstairs to get Amara. Ibrahim entered the living room and sat down, placing a black cloth bundle on the expensive Italian marble coffee table. 15 years ago, you made a deal, Ibrahim said. Wealth for sacrifice. You got your wealth. Now comes the sacrifice. What must I sacrifice? Chief Okonkwo asked, tears streaming down his face. The same thing you sacrificed when you made the deal, your humanity. Your compassion. Your ability to see people as people rather than servants and tools. Ibrahim unwrapped the black cloth slowly, and Chief Okonkwo gasped. Inside was a small clay jar, ancient and covered in strange symbols. But what made it terrifying was what was inside, a swirling, glowing mist that seemed to move with purpose, and from within it came sounds. Children laughing. Birds singing. Music playing. A mother's voice calling her child's name. This is your daughter's hearing, Ibrahim said. Ekwensu took it as collateral for your wealth. Every sound she should have heard in 12 years has been captured here. Give it back to her. Mrs. Ngozi screamed, running down the stairs with Amara. Give my daughter her hearing. I cannot simply give it, Ibrahim said. The debt must be paid. Chief Okonkwo must choose, keep his wealth and leave Amara in silence forever, or give up everything he gained through the deal, and she will hear again. That's not a choice. Chief Okonkwo shouted. Take everything. Take it all. It's not that simple, Ibrahim said. You must give it willingly, publicly, and permanently. You must return to who you were before the deal. No wealth. No status. No power. You will be Chinedu again, a man with nothing but his family. Can you truly accept that? Chief Okonkwo looked around his mansion. He thought of his fleet of cars. His multiple businesses. His political connections. His status. Everything he had built. Then he looked at Amara, his daughter, standing scared and confused, unable to hear the conversation that was deciding her fate. Mrs. Ngozi was already signing to her, Daddy can help you here. Do you want to hear, my love? Amara's eyes widened, and she nodded frantically, tears streaming down her face. She signed back, I want to hear Mommy's voice. I want to hear Daddy laugh. I want to hear music and birds and rain. Please, Daddy, please. Chief Okonkwo's hands trembled as he reached for the jar. Take it all, he whispered. Every naira. Every property. Every car. Every business deal. Take my chieftaincy title. Take my reputation. Just let my daughter hear. Ibrahim nodded slowly. So be it. The contract is broken. The debt is paid. He opened the clay jar, and the glowing mist poured out like water made of light and sound. It swirled around the room, gathering speed, growing brighter, and then, like a bullet, it shot directly into Amara's ears. For a moment, nothing happened. Amara stood frozen, her eyes wide. Then she gasped, and heard herself gasp. Her hands flew to her ears. Her mouth opened in shock. She turned her head, hearing the rustle of her own hair against her shoulders. Amara. Mrs. Ngozi whispered. Amora's eyes filled with tears as she heard her mother's voice for the first time. Not read from lips. Not imagined. But truly, actually heard. Mommy, she said out loud, her own voice sounding strange and wonderful to her. Mommy, I can hear you. Mrs. Ngozi collapsed, sobbing. Chief Okonkwo rushed to embrace his daughter, crying like a child. Daddy, Amara said, hearing his heartbeat against her ear. Daddy, I can hear your heart. It sounds like drums. Beautiful drums. All around the house, sounds burst into life for Amara. The ticking of the clock, tick, tick, tick. The hum of the air conditioner. The chirping of crickets outside. The wind in the trees. Her father's breathing. Her mother's sobs of joy. It was overwhelming. It was beautiful. It was everything. But as the family rejoiced, their celebration was interrupted by sounds outside. Cars pulling up. Men's voices. Official-sounding conversations. Ibrahim stood. It has begun. Within an hour, it all unraveled. Chief Okonkwo's business partners arrived with lawyers, suddenly claiming he had defrauded them. Bank officials came with notices of frozen accounts, irregularities, they said, that needed investigation. EFCC officials arrived with questions about the sources of his wealth. Every deal he had made under Ekwensu's influence was coming undone. Every supernatural advantage was being stripped away. The wealth was evaporating like morning mist under the hot sun. By midnight, Chief Okonkwo's accounts were frozen. By morning, his properties had liens against them. Within a week, everything was gone. They had to leave the mansion. The bank foreclosed. The luxury cars were repossessed. The businesses collapsed. Chief Okonkwo, now just Chinedu again, moved his family to a modest two-bedroom apartment in a middle-class neighborhood. He got a job as a sales manager, honest work, decent pay, nothing spectacular. Mrs. Ngozi, no longer able to afford her designer clothes and expensive spa treatments, learned to cook their meals and manage a household budget. And Amara. Amara discovered a world of sound she had only dreamed of. She attended a regular school for the first time, making real friends. She discovered music, oh, the music. She would cry listening to Afrobeat, gospel, high life, everything. She learned 3 instruments in her first year of hearing. She would wake up early just to hear the morning birds. She would stand in the rain to hear it patter on leaves. She would make her parents tell her stories just to hear their voices over and over again. Exactly 1 year after that fateful evening, there was a knock on the door of the Okonkwo family's modest apartment. It was Malam Ibrahim. Chinedu invited him in immediately. Come in, come in. Please, sit. Ibrahim smiled. I came to check on the family. And to return something. He placed an envelope on their small dining table. What's this? Chinedu asked. Your final lesson, Ibrahim said. My father, the mystic, died 3 months ago. Before he passed, he told me to give you this. Inside the envelope was a letter and a certified check for a substantial amount, not billions, but enough to start a legitimate business, to be comfortable. The letter read. Chinedu Okonkwo, you were never meant to lose everything forever. You were meant to learn what matters. Wealth gained through shortcuts cost more than money, it cost humanity. You looked through me for 15 years, never seeing me as a person. Your daughter saw me because she understood what it meant to be invisible in a world full of noise as I have passed the final test. You chose love over wealth. You chose your daughter's happiness over your own status. This money is not from spirits or tricks, it is from my own savings, money I never spent because I needed nothing but to fulfill my father's duty. Build honestly. Treat people with dignity. And remember, the most valuable things in life can never be bought, only earned through love and sacrifice. Chinedu wept as he read it. He looked at Ibrahim with new eyes, truly seeing him for the first time. Thank you, he whispered. For everything. For watching over us. For teaching me. For being patient with a fool. Ibrahim smiled. You were never a fool. Just a man who forgot what mattered. But you remembered. That's what counts. As Ibrahim prepared to leave, Amara ran to him and hugged him tightly. Thank you, Uncle Ibrahim, she said, her voice clear and sweet. Thank you for giving me sound. Thank you for giving my father wisdom. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible. Ibrahim patted her head gently. You were never invisible, little one. You were always the brightest light in that big house. I'm glad you can finally hear the world singing for you. After Ibrahim left, the family sat together in their small living room. No servants. No luxury. No status. But they had each other. And Amara could hear her parents' laughter. And that sound, that beautiful, ordinary, priceless sound, was worth more than all the mansions in Lagos. This story carries ancient wisdom that we forget at our peril. Never underestimate the people you consider beneath you, the gateman, the maid, the gardener, the driver. They are human beings with dignity, purpose, and often, with knowledge that could save your life. Shortcuts to wealth always cost more than their worth. There is no true success without struggle, no real victory without sacrifice, no lasting wealth without integrity. What you gain through darkness will be collected in darkness. Debts to the spiritual world are never forgotten, and they always come due. The most valuable things cannot be bought. It's laughter. A parent's love. The ability to hear the word. These are gifts, not commodities. And finally, see people. Truly see them as the person you overlook today might be the one holding your miracle tomorrow. Chief Okonkwo learned this lesson. His wealth is gone, but his family is whole. His status is lost, but his daughter can hear. And every night, as he tucks Amara into bed, she whispers, "Tell me a story, Daddy," just to hear his voice. And he does. Because some sounds are worth more than all the gold in the world.